Hello, everybody, and welcome back to BMRL Network. And we are live with another race and the final one before the Christmas break here in the Cup Series. It's going to be here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the longest, second longest race of the season. It's over 300 miles of distance. And 200 laps to do. It's Zavi here on your mics alongside Mike with me tonight for the commentary. And how are you doing, Mike, today? How are we looking into this race? Just the final one before the break.
Doing pretty good. This is the final one, like you said, before break, and we got a pretty decent count of cars here as last time, and we're at a pretty decent track, so I think we'll have some good racing here once again this week.
Yeah, it should be great racing. I mean, Donald Ray has got 2 victories in the previous 2 Cup Series races, and followed up by a from the other night Truck Series race victory. So he's got over about 3 victories into 2 victories now into in the last 2 races if he wins it today. But he's coming up from a victory, and the momentum carries on. And he's won in the previous 2 Cup Series races as well. So he should be on top of the confidence at all.
Yeah, Donald Ray been looking really good here these last couple weeks, man.
He's done a fantastic job, not only racing but defending, especially, which I not didn't saw much drivers, many drivers do here in over racing. He just doesn't let the car behind go at all.
Yeah, he likes to put himself in a good position early, and yeah, he's been hanging on to it and just really tearing it up out there, dude.
Giving it his all. Meanwhile, we are having some times in the qualifying session. Donald Ray, look at that once again. He's quickest of them all, the number 9 car, 29.11. And Chris Mayer in second place with JR Jr. in third. And then comes Prevo in fourth. Darby in fifth. Derby in fifth. And Sean Cross in sixth place. All of those just slowly getting in those laps in. It's again going to be 3 stages. Stage 1, it's going to be 1 to lap 50. Then it's going to restart and go on to 120. And then from 120 to 200. Over 80 laps of the third and final stage.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see Gross here take either one of the stages or maybe even win it tonight.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do. I mean, everybody obviously has their chances, and sure, Donald Ray has won, but that doesn't always mean that he's going to win it every time. Probably he can, but sure, he's got challenges, and I'm sure that the final race before the break, everyone will be pumped up to end it on a high and get a result better than they probably previously had.
Yeah, definitely. This is one race that I'm sure a lot of people are probably going to be watching for this series since it's before the break. And I believe playoffs is coming soon, right?
Yes, playoffs should be happening, but let's have a look at that when that exactly will be happening. So, for the Cup Series, it's still about uh, four races, actually, 5 races. Then it says chase start top 4 drivers. That should be the playoff, I think.
Okay.
Yep. So it's far away. It's almost the one before the final race.
I got it turned all the way up. All right. You guys still hear me all right and everything?
Yes, yes. I read it.
Okay.
So, guys, we're just taking a little bit of a commercial break before the grid sets up, and drivers get on and pick it up when the grid is ready. And there we go. The grid looks set ready as Donald Ray ahead of everyone. Andrew Gruce in second place, just ahead of Chris Mayo in third place. Then it's Dutman in fourth place. Sean Cross in fifth. Then comes Junior in sixth. Then Prevo in seventh. Jamie Prevo involved in a few incidents actually in that cup race. So you would want, in that truck series race, you want a bit of a clear race. And then comes just right behind Jamie Prevo is going to be Darby in the 8th place. Then it's Sterling in 9th. Adam Gardiner in 9th. Actually, in 9th. In 10th, for number 56 car, and then it's William in 11th place. So as it stands, we've got 11 cars here tonight to get us going for the 200 laps here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Just waiting on for the cars to start rolling right behind the pace car and get us going and go racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We saw other series cars go around here, and it's now time for the Cup Series. Let's see what different does this show us here tonight, or shows us anything we've never seen before. Sure, the Cup Series always produces somewhat of interesting races, and I mean, this should be nothing but somewhat similar to it. Oh. As we are now rolling for the cars, all right behind the pace car to get going and ready up to take us racing under the green flag in just a few moments' time.
This is definitely going to be a good one here tonight. Can't wait for this one to get started.
Absolutely, look at that. Andrew Gruce on the outside of Donald Ray, already weaving left and right, getting those tires warmed up and putting somewhat of temperature in those and just give him enough grip to get the start perfect, to get the start as good as Donald Ray, if not any better, as the base car comes in and it's going to be going green with Donald Ray ahead of Andrew Gruce. We saw Donald get very good starts behind the base car a few times before, but can he do it this time around though? But Andrew Gruce has got him on the outside line. Meanwhile, Chris Mayo in that 24 is coming right behind as well, and Andrew Gruce round the outside has switched up from the outside to the inside and into the lead of the race. Already positions gained for Andrew Gruce and pushes himself into the leader of the race, and Chris Mayo getting up to the outside and falling up into single file as well. The top two are pulling away already. And that's going to be Alberto and Tim 2 by 2, but we'll see how they will be taking us at this point in time. These guys are somewhat at the back of the grid fighting between the two drivers, but the top two are away from them, and Chris Mayo is into third place as well to try and take it away from the rest of the grid and maybe attack those guys ahead. The number 14 of Junior in that 6th place is right ahead of Sterling and Derby. We'll see what it's going to be. Meanwhile, Jamie Bravo in between those guys. The 73 goes up high, got closer to the car. He wants a very clean race for himself, but for others around as well, as everybody just keeps fighting for what positions, as we see a different kind of a number. 02, we do not see that. Or that should be 03, in fact, as or maybe there was somewhat of a different number than what we see on the overlay than it is in the paint. It's a different number, but that doesn't matter to Jamie Bravo as he gets past Stutzman and moves into 4th place. There we go. It's going to be Donald Ray side by side and gets overtaken by Chris Mayo. Chris moves up ahead one more position. He's had a rapid start here tonight, gaining a few positions, and as it stands, he might just be on the way to overtake Andrew Cruz. If he's able to defend from Donald Ray, it's going to be somewhat of a challenge for Andrew Cruz to defend from Chris Mayo, because Chris has really got the start and he looks very fast tonight, and we are about to see somewhat great racing between the three.
Yeah, definitely Chris Mayo off to a good start here, looking pretty good, coming up to Andrew here pretty quickly.
He's done a fantastic job, and I think he looks stamina, but not only them, but the rest of the grid. Meanwhile, the 02 of Stutzman goes on the inside line of Donald Ray, and Donald just after that start, he didn't got that momentum and speed, and he seems to be losing even more positions with the 02 of Stutzman now attacking Chris Mayo as well. He will be out there to try and give him a hard time, and sure, this time around, the leader is not going to have an easy race. Meanwhile, Chris Mayo and the 02 side by side, just a little bit ahead, car length ahead is Chris Mayo, and it's almost the whole grid all bunched up together, except for Jamie Bravo, who seems to be in the pit lane. Okay, so Jamie Bravo, seemed out that he's jumped into pit road at the race start. Something might have went wrong for him, had to force him into the pit lane, but the rest of them don't care about that. Moreover, just want to focus on their race and get going. Meanwhile, Chris Mayo has lost a few positions out there again. Donald gets ahead, and Mayo loses out. Meanwhile, Ray's going to go on the in-between almost through those two drivers. Made it 3 wide in there, but just out there. Meanwhile, we're going to see the number 2 car take the lead here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, just ahead of Andrew Cruz, but he's still side by side. Gonna give him the time. No, not gonna give up on that quite easily. They're still side by side, scraping wheels, and that's gonna be Donald Ray in between. This could be going wrong if they try and go 3 wide, which won't be any space for it. And I think Donald done a very good job to not hang in there, because any other driver could try and take their chance, and 3 wide doesn't always go right on tracks like this. But so far, once again, it's going to be on the inside for the 02. They're not leaving each other at all, and this is going to be a very, very healthy fighting between the top 2 racers.
Yeah, check this out here. The 19 of Gross and the 9 of Ray here having a pretty good battle here for second place, as there's 4 cars side by side right behind them as well.
The battles are very great. Meanwhile, Donald Ray now picks up the momentum back again. We saw him lose out positions, but it's now time for him to get back in the rhythm and get back on to the top as he overtakes Andrew Cruz, and now will be on the charge to overtake the number 2 as well, and they will be on it. Meanwhile, there was a car on the outside, must have been the number 14, and he's just making up positions as well. Everybody's on their own as Andrew Cruz doesn't leave the side of Donald Ray, and he could be trying ahead, trying to overtake him. They're all going single file except for Junior on the high line at this moment in time. Nobody really risking at this moment in time, just trying to take it this race long and get this stage 1 to lap 50 quite easily, and at least in one piece, which doesn't always happen, especially in racing and close racing like this.
Yeah, a lot of the times it's hard to keep them side by side without little mistakes happening, and all of a sudden, well, there goes somebody's race.
Yeah, and I think after a incident from the truck series, if everybody watching remembers that there was the leader who dominated the race, Austin Hundexley, who is not in this race, but he won the first 2 stages on the way to win the 3rd one, but there was a lapped car in between, which did a little bit of a late or in the wrong move from getting out of the way and ended up bumping into the leader. So they really help preventing such incidents. But let's see, I think everybody racing each other quite respectfully at this point in time. 13 laps into 200 seems to be fun at this point in time.
Ray definitely trying to stay up near the front here, but he's got the O2 of Stutzman that he's got to catch up and get around. And I don't think he's going to let him by that easily.
He's doing that. Meanwhile, Chris now moves to the outside. Could well try and have a go at Andrew Grues. But I think at this moment in time, the defending we were talking about, Stutzman, has done a very decent job as Andrew Grues scrapes the wall on the outside. That might help Chris Mayo to get closer and get through on him, as they're still quite a few lengths away from each other, as we have Derby's number 3 overtake the car of Junior, and that is going to be a move done and a position gained for the number 3, getting up into 6th place, still fighting Chris. Sorry, it's not number 3, but it's number 5, I shall say. But we'll see what it's going to be for him, though. He might try and overtake Chris Mayo and attack him, but they are still fighting and side by side, not leaving each other's side. And the number 14 is not going to have it easy on him, and really not going to let him get past and give him the challenge and show that he's got the speed to get and do it as well. So as it stands, they're still side by side, and Chris got slower. Is he heading pit road? He might be.
Seems to be a little bit early to be heading to pit road already.
Yes, it's very, very early. Maybe he's got somewhat damage, but I don't think he's got, because no contact has been made at all, or maybe he's used too much fuel at this point in time, which won't be much of a difference from the others, because he's only been running with the pace of them, unlike Andrew Grues, which last week ran a few seconds away from others and then ended up running out of it. So what could it be, possibly?
The only other thing I can think of is maybe he tapped the wall and got some wheel damage.
That could well be, but he only took a few seconds. Are we really having that wheel damage repair in a few seconds' time, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it could have been so minor that could have took just a couple seconds, but we don't really know. We didn't really see exactly what's going on. We don't really know, but he took his pits and, well, he's back out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the drivers don't really take the risk of pitting early, even if you have just a minor damage, try and carry it on, and when comes the next caution, try and fix it then. But he's got out into the pits. I'm sure there'll be somewhat of thinking going on behind this and make this work when it comes down to the end of the race. Meanwhile, we have a look at the leaders, still fighting it out. Stutzman ahead of everyone, leads them by far. We see cars a few times get on the outside wall, tap a little, but they carry on the speed that they've started from. That doesn't stop them from anything. Meanwhile, the number 14 and the number 5 still having a fight with each other, and really not leaving each other's side. The others have been running single file ahead of them to just keep it going how it's going, and just we are on to lap 20 and 21 now. With 20 laps done, so just these final 30 laps, they're going to take it smooth and with patience. The patience is key at the start of as long of a race as much as 200 laps, and they have shown it so far. No one has been as much aggressive at this point in time, and I think rightfully so. Let's see what happened. According to the community, we might just lose it because iRacing has went down. So hopefully the session keeps running. Otherwise, there could be problems, though. But we'll see how this all happens. So we're already 22 laps into the 50 of the first stage going on. As it stands, though, I mean, doesn't matter how many laps we have. Let it be a few, or although the end of the race. Let's enjoy it and make the most of it, just like the drivers. We're on to lap 23 now. So as it stands, it's quite stable, no issues from our end as it stands. Maybe iRacing itself could be having a few of its own, but I think still the servers, we never know nothing about them one way or the other. It could going down, it could be okay one moment and down the other, but as it stands, it seems to be all good, but just we have to be prepared for anything. Meanwhile, Donald Ray falling a little bit behind. The leader, Stutzman, pulling away from the others. He seems to be pushing a lot at this point in time, Mike.
Yes, sir. He's really making some good moves out there, and Stutzman really holding on to the lead, man.
So let's see what happens. We see fuel saving in the previous Cup Series race. Remember, with how big of a gap Andrew Greus picked up, but then ended up losing out on that first stage win because of pushing too much and running out of fuel. So others might just be trying to manage something, trying to manage and save enough fuel to go to the end. And look at that, Andrew Greus. As it stands, he's in third place, and Junior's moved up for a moment. I thought Andrew Greus might have fallen a few positions behind, but he is in third place, and Junior has picked up into fourth place and are just getting closer to the leaders.
Hey, he's really pulling it off here, man.
We're already 26 laps into the 50 for that first stage, and I think these so far have been decent laps. And just to go around and see what they are all going to be doing. I mean, they're just, as we said, saving up on fuel, just trying to play the patience game and just get themselves over the line at the to the end of the first stage, because 50 laps are still a lot to do in one stint, that's for sure.
You see the 14 car there of Junior looking pretty good. He's up into fourth place here.
Yeah, Junior really picked up the speed, and he's got the speed showing up, but he's heading pit road now. As it stands, he's just got to move to the low line and seems to be pitting. It's going to be interesting to see if all of those who do not pit will be able to make it to the stage, because as I said, 50 laps are a lot. So to really manage that will take all of this. Either it takes the speed or it takes, and that explains it, as Donald and Andrew Greus head into the pit road already as we talk about it, and that means 30 laps were the most they could do on the fuel they had. Otherwise, it could have been very complicated to the end. So the best would have been to come in and refuel to get going back again.
Yeah, definitely. They got to be really careful on fuel here. Hopefully they can make it 50 laps. If not, we're going to see another early pit.
And I think as it stands with... It's about Stutzman's over 6 seconds ahead of Adam Gardiner. Sure, some pitting, some not, but I think at one point he will have to pit, because it'll be very, very hard. And remember what happened to Andrew Greus in the previous race that we saw, him running out of fuel just when it was almost to be the end of the stage. So sure, he didn't want the repeat of that, so headed into pit road when he thought the time was best. But Stutzman still thinks different from the rest of them so far. Cannot hear you if you're talking to Mike. Yeah, his light
Yeah, I do
is lighting
now.
up. Oh, okay.
I don't know what happened. Everything just went quiet.
Huh. Could well be all of the servers at this point in time having issues with Discord, iRacing, some of the other platforms as well. But at least we could see somewhat racing going on, and let's carry it on for this moment in time. I think just to have a look at this, it's enough at least for time being. Meanwhile, William in that 75 car seems to be in third place, but as it stands, he has not pitted. The drivers having pitted are Ray, Andrew Gruce, Chris Mayo pitted ahead of before everyone. Then it's Junior and Sterling having pitted, and the top three of William, Stutzman, Gardiner are yet to pit. Meanwhile, goes the car through, and that is Chris Mayo through, and Adam Gardiner, but hits the wall on the outside. Adam's going to be through on him one more time. That's going to be position switching, and Junior is through as well. He's going to try and overtake Adam Gardiner, who probably would, Mayo would have been trying to unlap himself and try and get that lead lap if he's able to do that, but not quite possible for him at this point in time. And the scrape between Mayo and Junior has been going on at this point in time. Still, the leader we see over 6 seconds ahead of everyone into lap 37. He's going to pass into.
Yeah, Gardner here looking.
As it stands, we just lost our commentator, but let's carry it on as it stands. I think still in the lap 36. We're having issues at this point in time, but hopefully those are going to be resolved. But at this point in time, lap 36 out of 50, which is going to take us to the end of this stage. And I think as it stands, it seems to be a pretty decent race, and fuel saving going on from those who haven't pitted, and for those who have are just going to be now problem free. But we'll see what are going to be the risk of not pitting, or even if we are going to have anybody, because as it stands, sure, Gardiner might be trying to do some fuel saving, but then Stutzman is not backing up as well. He's over 7.5 seconds now at this point in time. Into lap 38 we move. We would see how everybody else is going to be able to do it, but I think with 11 of them around and some good battles between the leaders at the start of the race, we saw in just 12 laps now to the end, and that first caution, and the second one isn't any short as well. The second stage, that is going to go from about lap 55 restart to almost 120 laps. Let's have a look at that. And yes, it is going to go to 120, so that's going to be about 5, then almost 65 laps. First 50, second 65, and the third one's going to be even bigger, almost about 75 laps to the end of the race. So they are going to have a very, very long time to try and take this race on and enjoy, not only try and win, enjoy it, but get these laps through as well, because after somewhat time, it might not be as easy as it looks for all of these drivers racing.
Yeah, it's not that. This situation, when you start saving fuel, the way these guys are, it's a hard thing to try to strategize what you need to do 10 laps away from lap 50 here. And I don't know that Jeremiah there and Mr. Adam F. Gardner, if those two cars are going to be capable of stretching it all the way to the end of the stage. You got Mr. William there as well. And as we speak, Jeremiah Strutzman on pit road. He'll give up the ghost, bring the O2 down. He'll get tires and fuel here. And that only leaves Adam F. Gardner and William trying to make it to the end of the stage here.
I think it's only time that they're going to come into the pits now, but has Stutzman timed it correctly, or has he went too late? Because sometimes that happens, and too late doesn't always go to plan. And there we go, William and Adam Gardner so Adam's not into the pits, but William is. Adam should well be in somewhat time, unless he's saved as much fuel as much to get him to the end with just 8 laps to go now.
Yeah, that's going to be a big stretch. He's ran 41 laps. Everybody else has came down. The problem with this is, Zab, he's ran so long now. When he does come down, he's given up about a second a lap to the field that took fresh tires. So if he can't make it to the end of the stage, he's going to give up a lot track position-wise at the stage end.
Yeah, and I think sometimes drivers try and overcut the others, but that doesn't always go to plan. I think that's what has happened to Adam Gardner at this point in time. He could well be trying to take it to the end now. That's the only option he's got, which is gonna gain something. Maybe try and, well, maybe as well, try and take the big risk at this point in time, because pitting anyways will lose him a lot of track position, and then trying to get back on with everybody might not be as easy as it would be had he been pitting earlier on.
He's bringing it down now. I think 43, 42 here was the max he could get out of the car, and that plays big, Zap, for later in the race. We know we're going to have that 100-lap run to the end, right? So you look at that. When we do that, we know these cars can make it about 43 laps. So that tells us if we go green flag racing, we're going to have at least 2 green flag stops on that last stage.
Yeah, sure, we at least will, with which I think is over 85 laps. Oh, sorry, 75 laps, with obviously stage ending at 120 and 5 laps behind the pace car, and restart would be 25. So 75 to the end, but still a green flag pit stop. If not 2, 1 is going nowhere to have these drivers have a pit stop when Junior and Mayo come very, very close to each other at this point in time. They're fighting for position, and that 3rd place seems to be a hot topic to these guys, because getting closer to the leaders will be on their times, will be on their bucket list. And they're already fighting it, really, having pitted. Mayo pitted earlier and ahead of everyone, so he might just be not having the best of feelings on those tires as compared to everybody around him, who must have taken some of those if they wanted to when they pitted after him.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. How does this play out for Mayo? He had that damage earlier, right? But now it kind of worked to his advantage a little bit. But we'll see as this stage runs on how this plays out with 4 to go in stage 1.
I think it's going to be all...
Go ahead, Zap.
Yeah. So lap 46 out of 200 at this point in time. And I think we'll see Andrew Grews taking that lead just about 50 hundredths of a second. It's over 3/4 tenths, just ahead of Donald Ray, and these two fighting each other and giving us the fight. And I think that these two are going to be the ones fighting each other, unless Stutzman Jr. or Chris Mayo could fight it on. But I think those are going to fight for that 3rd place. And now we're just about to be at the end of the first stage into lap 48. We will go next time by.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting how this pans out. Andrew right now holds that gap out front about 6.5 tenths of a second from 1st to 2nd right now between Andrew and Donald Ray and Chris Mayo back there in 3rd, a little ways back. Mayo, though, putting up a fight with Junior there. Junior trying to get back by Mayo. That is stage points that's on the line here tonight, as Andrew continuing to lead lap 49 that time by.
Yeah, just now getting closer to the end, and these drivers know what they're fighting for, that extra point at the end of this stage, and they're really fighting for it, not giving up. And doesn't matter what tire, how many laps Mayo's done on those tires, he's still pushing it on and really pushing it to the end and push Max push. It's going to be, as we are just about to move into lap 50 now, and the final one before the flag fails and caution comes out to make it stage. And this is very close again. Still very close between Mayo and Junior. Anyone can take it. Junior's got that outside line, and he could well be making that move, or could be a photo finish that we say into the line as we get to the end of the first stage now.
Here we go. 3 and 4. They'll be 1 and 2. Nice job. And that should be the end of the stage here. Zab and Chris holding off. 4th, 3rd. Good job.
Yes, he holds off Junior and gets himself into 3rd place. And Andrew Cruz gets that stage 1 victory finally that he didn't get in the previous race where he misjudged the strategy. And this time he does it very well.
Planned it out perfectly. Well, folks, we'll take a quick break in the booth. When we come back, we'll have more action here on the BMRL Racing Network here in the Cup Series here tonight. We'll be back momentarily.
And there we go, guys. We are back, and we're back from the break and should be ready to go. Green flag racing one more time. Lap 55 restart, which is going to take up us to the end of lap 120. So that's almost going to be about 65 laps to the end of this race. Longest stint in the second longest stint in this race, as the third one is going to be even more bigger. So we'll see what racing we're going to see, because in the first one we saw some overtakes, but not a lot of them. Some patience game going on, fuel saving for these drivers, and we saw Adam Gardner do the most laps, and he's been pretty fine actually, only just in 3rd place now at the restart. The recovery has been pretty decent for him, which sees him into 3rd place. You know, just thinking about that, he might lose a lot of positions if he pits very late, which he did into lap 42. But it was very closer for him, and the pace car should be off now. We're going to see these guys side by side, and the restart goes on, as it's going to be Stutzman getting a great restart. So does Gardiner, gets ahead of Sterling in third place, that is, and Gardiner and Donald Ray on the inside line, getting ahead of Sterling there on the outside, losing a lot of positions. Only one on the outside, actually. High line losing so many positions. Andrew Gruce gets through as well. Chris Mayo might as well get going, and already all of those drivers pitting out and now getting out on fresher tires and a lot more fuel to have the confidence that they want. They can make it to the end. Probably we might see some more of a pit stop before the end of the second stage as well. So a lot of green flag pit stops in this race could well be going on, and it's going to be Andrew Gruce trying to defend from Chris Mayo. Just ahead of those guys is Stutzman Adam and Adam Gardiner. Meanwhile, Donald Ray, 5/5 the gap, and that's going to be now Andrew Gruce around the outside of Stutzman, overtakes him. Chris Mayo might as well try as well. He's going to go at his whim. They're side by side. Will it be Stutzman or Chris Mayo getting ahead of one another? They're still side by side, and now Andrew Gruce is going to go through, and Adam Gardiner really now getting himself to second place, and the challenge to Donald Ray is going to begin, and I think over 1 second the gap to Donald. For Andrew Gruce, Donald might be pushing, because knowing that surely he would anyways have to pit before the end of the second stage. So just carry it on and carry the fast speed that he shows always. As it's it's going to be Chris Mayo now, going to try and attack Andrew Gruce there side by side one more time. One is high, the other is low. Will it be Chris Mayo or Andrew Gruce? But by a long mile, it's going to be Chris Mayo getting ahead and moving into second place now. 1.8 seconds gap to the leaders from P1 to P2. That 59 out of 200, 120, which is going to take us to the end of this second stage. And I think these 11 cars still in this race. Pretty decent, clean racing, I shall say, going on, and these two are still scraping it out. Meanwhile, Andrew Gruce is going to now try and attack Chris Mayo there. Both of them are going to give each other the fight, and let us enjoy all of these moments between these two fighting for that second place, because with these guys fighting, it's going to help Donald Ray, who's going to pull away as through goes Adam Gardiner, and into second place. Sure, his chance of attacking Donald Ray might have pulled away, unless he could pull over 2 seconds back on him and get him back, or unless Donald Ray tries to do somewhat of fuel saving and tire saving as well. But as it stands, he's pushing to the banks. Max Fish for these guys, with laps moving rapidly now, with over 60 laps being done. I'm sure the drivers would already be wanting when's the end, but it's still far away from this. We're not even halfway through the distance of this race, so might as well just take it lap by lap and smoothly there, as Junior now takes a position on Sterling at this point in time at the back of the grid for 8th place. He takes to that. Meanwhile, we have a look at these two drivers, and they are just taking us and giving us the fight that we have seen so far. But as it stands, Andrew Gruce might just be pulling away from Chris Mayo as well, who's just having his all and carrying this on, and I think he's going to try and get back to the leaders. He's gained a lot. The gap was almost over 2 seconds at one point with Mayo and Gruce fighting each other. It helped Donald Ray move far away, but that's now going to be him losing out a little time. Probably he must have lifted a little bit as well. Obviously pushing too much wouldn't have been good enough for him, and the gap now comes down to 1 second, less than 1 second, but still a lot of ground to make. Over 9/10 will have to be made, and Chris Mayo is not far away from Andrew Gruce. If Andrew does one mistake while pushing for that win, it could well be going a lot wrong. We'll see what he does. So it was the Andrew himself. It was Andrew himself taking that stage 1 win. But when it comes to the second stage win, we'll see what he's able to do. He's gained up a lot of it now, and not far away is Mayo from Gruz as well. So sure, Donald would have backed out a little from how much he was pushing earlier on. This is going to be now very close, Andrew Gruz and Donald Ray. And look at that. The gap is now just less than 2/10, just about 2/10 now at this point in time. And I think Andrew Gruz really gearing up that push, and which Donald did earlier on. But obviously that was not going to go on for too long, which he had to pull out of. And that's then going to help Andrew Gruz to get back on to the lead and pick up where he left that first stage, which saw him take first place. But of course, drivers pit at the end of that first stage as well, which might have saw him fall back a little and didn't have the restart. Donald get a great restart, but how good he's going to be able to do that. Donald Ray, one of the very good defensive drivers in this race, and I think we'll see what he's going to be able to do against Andrew Gruz though. Again, he's able to not let him get past. They are side by side still, giving us the fight and the battle going on. But as it stands, he still stays ahead, and that's going to help Chris to get closer. But will there be a chance for Andrew Gruz this time around? Will we see him move to the outside or to the inside line? At this moment in time, Donald Ray is doing a very good job defending almost in the middle of the track. They're both low, but he almost moves along with Andrew Gruz. That wherever Andrew's moving, so is Donald. That does not allow him to get past. But at this point in time, he stands right behind him. And again, that defensive technique and driving of Donald Ray helps him stay ahead and keep himself stay in that first place and be leading this race so far, which could well be not easy for him, and not too long before Andrew Gruz is gonna go for it. He switched up to the inside line. He might as well go for it, but will it be enough? He backs out and gets himself back into behind the car of Donald there. But this time around, it's very close. They're almost about bumper touching, and they're going to touch the cars. And if Andrew Gruz does not make this overtake, he might as well have to concede the place to Chris Mayo as well, because now he is only about 4/10 away from these guys, and that is only going to mean somewhat good. And we'll see if one of them or all of them are able to switch up positions with one another, and we'll see how this happens, how this all happens. It could be Donald staying in the lead. If he loses out on that, he might end up losing out on the second place as well, end up Chris conceding that giving that place as well. With these 15 laps till here from the restart have been pretty entertaining so far. With this race and this battle still going on between Andrew Gruz and Donald Ray, moving into lap 71 out of 120, which is going to take us to the end of this second stage. Still a lot of laps away from this, and Andrew Gruz and Donald Ray now side by side. Andrew Gruz and Donald Ray. Andrew has made up his place alongside Donald Ray now, and he's about to be ahead of him. But will Donald be able to defend it? He's tried to pull away earlier on, but that was not going to be enough. Others have to catch up on, and these two are now side by side one more time. Will it be Andrew or will it be Donald? Get back on, because whoever's able to get a whole car ahead could try and move up ahead of them and take that lead. But as that hasn't quite happened at this point in time, Donald has done a very good job in trying to keep himself, but Andrew has finally got that lead, and that was not enough for Donald, and that gets himself up in the second place not up, but down in the second place. Donald Ray, there's a car coming out of the pit road, but Andrew Gruz has so far successfully overtaken Donald Ray and moved himself up into first place and the lead of the race, and that might as well allow Chris Mayo to be very closer and maybe have a chance for that race lead. The gaps are getting closer. Andrew seems to be pushing up. Andrew seems to be pulling away. I'm sure he has everything in mind, especially those strategies, how much they're going to be pitting. And I think it's only going to be a matter of time before we see probably these guys pitting up and having a go at the pit stop. Of course, far away from that still, because as it stands, they would have only done about 20 laps on these tires and fuel, so that shouldn't be a problem. But at about lap 100 or 110, maybe they try and pit just like before at this before the end of this stage, and I think we'll see what happens or about. But it's only time will tell, and I think it will be all okay if they're able to save it. But will they be able to save it? We have one driver derby into the pits at this point in time. So almost everybody on that lead lap, apart from Sterling and Prevo, with one of them being 2 laps down, the other being over 5 laps down at this point in time. And that's now Chris Mayo through on Donald Ray and gets himself into second place. Might just get himself into the lead of the race as well. He's activated his push at this point in time, which is going to see himself get into the lead of the race and get on to the enjoyment. Oh, but he's now getting in. He got ahead. Donald just overtake one car, as I said. Probably the most outcomes of the 3 cars battle is one ahead, gets overtaken by one, and then the other as well. Chris overtook Andrew, and then it was only, overtook Donald, and then only a time he was going to overtake Andrew Gruce. But we will see how long he's going to be able to keep this position, though. He's overtaken it. Sure, we've seen the other 2 take the lead as well, but it's always been back and forth, and we will see for how long he's able to keep it. He stays ahead of those guys for this time being. Meanwhile, Sean Cross over 5, that cross in that number 8 car over 5 seconds ahead of these guys, behind these guys, and he's just hanging in there. That 4th place fight could be on. He is on, but we'll see. Okay, that might not be that number 8 car. That might be a lapped car, and yes, he's going to the outside and just trying to unlap himself. Maybe that could well be Sterling's lap, and yes, that might be Sterling, as now it says he's only 1 lap down. Earlier it was 2 laps down, and he's just trying to get back on with the leaders. We will see how this is going to be going on, because the top 2 is going to be interesting. This top 3, the fight for the lead, the battle for the lead, which seems to be still fighting up, spiced up, and nobody yet to back out. Nobody at this moment in time. Surely all of these wild guys would be thinking for that management, as now Andrew Gruce around the outside will be having his chance to overtake Chris Mayo. And yes, he's able to do that. Chris pulls away from that. He might just have to pull away for and Donald Ray as well, but just not close enough. Still not close enough. Just a few car lengths away, and Donald does not attempt a move that might not be completed, a move that might be difficult, very difficult to complete. So not yet doing what he does best. Still going on this nice fighting between the top 3. We yet have nobody in the commentary box alongside me at this moment in time. Just carrying on this race, fighting it all out to have these guys battle out on the circuit, to just keep it on. Hope you all are watching, are enjoying, and we will see how all of these drivers will be able to do, because sure they can try, and we'll have a look. I think this top 3 are still going very smoothly and still fighting each other off and not quite having an issue at all. And I think they're just about management, pretty much drafting right behind one another as well, because if they try too much do too much overtaking, might as well affect one of them or all of them negatively. So at this point in time, I think they're all just taking it smoothly at this point in time, and Chris Mayo now might just be getting closer and closer to Donald Ray, and on the verge of losing position, on the verge of getting himself into third place. But we'll see, because Donald Ray at this point in time, he might be on the attack here at this point in time. And we'll see, because Chris Mayo and Andrew Gruz, both of them teammates running 1 and 2 at this point in time. That is going to be a great result for the Breed Motorsports team, with their 2 of their drivers ahead of everyone, Andrew Gruz and is Chris Mayo, who's on the outside now. On top of it, the 2 teammates are now fighting everything to defend against Donald Ray, which could well be. We'll see how he's able to do that. And now Chris Mayo might just try and go for it. Will he move to the outside to overtake his teammate? Not quite possible at this point in time. And I think as it stands, he seems to be staying far, far away. Not sure what Team Andrew Gruz is driving for, because I do not see team roadsters for him in the Cup Series teams, so he might just be on his own and fighting for himself. But we'll see, because 86 laps into a 120 lap second stage and a 75 lap stint, not the 75 but the 65 lap stint to the end of the race, which is going to see us get on to third stage of the race, which is going to be about 75 laps, the longest stint of this race, and probably the series as well, because this seems to be it might not be, but we'll see, because this, well, in terms of laps it will be, but in terms of distance this is second more distance, because Daytona was 325 miles but it was only 130 laps. This one's over 200 laps and 300 miles. I mean, Donald Ray having 2 wins to his name, it stands to see what he can do. Stephen Hins, not in this race, who won that first race at Daytona, so it could well be a new winner in the terms of Andrew Gruz, who lost out on the previous week's race, or it could well be Donald Ray winning it 3 in a row. And I mean, what a series he's had in the Cup Series so far, and it's his chance. And as the way he's dominating, he could well be getting it on, with about many races remaining to the end, and it's going to be even more laps, less distance in the next few races, but it's going to be Darlington Raceway with 200 laps and 273 miles, and then it's going to be Bristol Motor Speedway, single pit roads as it says, it might be somewhat of a layout, 280 laps and only 149 miles, 150 miles, which is not going to be that much. So only 3 drivers, and that explains that drivers heading pit road for that before the end of that stage could well be in now, because they've done over about, we shall say, over 35 laps into on those tires and fuel, and they're heading into the pits. Andrew Gruz and Chris Mayo into pit road, with Donald Ray already heading into pit road and getting positions. So that's going to be position switches, and those pit stops which were going to be happening, and we're going to be due a green flag pit stops, which we were going to see before the end of that first stage. And I think that is all going to be the case of what they were able to do, how they were going to be able to do. And once again, Williams stays ahead of everyone. So does Junior this time around. Not able to get closer because they are now trying, but Andrew Gruz and Chris Mayo just exited out in 3rd and 4th place, and if the drivers ahead pit, they will be able to, because they will not be able to having the best time with them. And now it's going to be very, very close between Donald Ray and Andrew Gruz, just heading out of the pit road and getting ahead, and that's going to be Donald Ray coming out ahead of Andrew Gruz after the pit stops have been made. And I think, sure, that explanation, and that explains how he was able to do that. He just undercut that, and we'll see how they're able to do, because they so far have kept it very nicely done. Lap 93 out of 120, which is going to take us to for those. And I think we'll see what and how they're able to do at this point in time. This is very close. One more time, Andrew Cruz and Donald Ray closing up on each other with at this point in time, and I think we'll see they're going to take us, give us another side-by-side racing action within the two. We might not be as it looks. As it stands, the producer might not be there, just running on the cameras because we're not having any other battles on the track. I'm sure there's overtakes going on, but it's going to be now Andrew Cruz and Donald Ray side by side, and Andrew gets through on Donald already one more time and gets himself going and moves into first place and takes that lead back on, which he had before the pit stops were made. So those strategies mattering out there, and with over 75 laps, he might or might not have over two green flag pit stops and strategies to think out for the drivers, because a race this long could well be very, very big, could well be somewhat of racing going on, and we'll see what and how this is all going to be happening at this point in time. A great job between all of these drivers, and they will be on their way to get themselves to the end of the stage. And 96, lap 96 out of 120. They're switching at the back as well. Stutman and Cross fighting each other. The 02 and number 8 car are giving each other a fight as well. They're all fighting. So is the lead. The fight for the lead is going on. It's pretty decent as well. Lap 97, and I think just about, almost still about 23 laps to the end. A lot of them. So many laps still to the end. But I think they're going smooth. They're going and doing nicely at this point in time. They're just taking it smooth as it gets and get it going, because just take it to the end, do as good as they can at this point in time, and what they can in this race. A huge race, a long race. Hoping to keep you all entertained in this long and on my own, but we'll see how all of this will be happening. Lap 99 out of 200, which could be interesting to get us going and get us racing, and we will be seeing lap 99 out of 200 in total, and there we go. We are finally about to complete half distance in this race so far. We're on lap 100 out of 200 and 100 out of 120, which is going to take us to the end of this second stage, which these two have been giving it their fight. These two have been fighting it all, and could well be a time. I mean, still quite great racing. Let's have a look at that. Like 11 drivers, 11 of them still in there, all 9 of them on the lead lap, fighting each other, well, one after the other, and giving one another a somewhat of scraping to do. They have been doing a pretty decent job. And I was talking about the distance, and we got to the distance of the other races. It's going to be Bristol Motor Speedway, 280 laps, 150 miles of distance. And Charlotte, and then again Charlotte Motor Speedway, but Roval. That's going to be, which I've heard is a very interesting race. It's going to be 60 laps in slope and 136 miles of distance. Actually, the shortest race of the season as it stands. And then again, it's going to be Kansas Speedway Oval, Talladega Super Speedway, many of those. And a lot of those are going to be interesting. And I think seeing Donald's progress at this point in time, it's been interesting. But let's have a look at the other series as well, which are, and yes, so looking at the Xfinity series, Andrew Gruis has got that one win. He won the first race at Daytona in the Xfinity series, but hasn't quite been able to recover, hasn't quite been able to win after any other series after that. And same goes for Chris Cornett as well. He won at Daytona. It's almost like everyone winning at Daytona hasn't quite been able to do it once again, because 3 drivers, Andrew Gruis, Chris Cornett, and that's going to be, they're still fighting, and that's Andrew Gruis still keeping that lead and himself ahead of Donald Ray. Yeah, so we're talking about that fight that Chris Cornett winning that Daytona Xfinity Series race. Cup Series race. Not even the Cup Series, but the Truck Series race. And he hasn't been able to win after that. Same goes for Andrew Gruis in that first Xfinity Series race. Hasn't been able to do that. And now Stephen Hines in this Cup Series race, Cup Series as well, got that first race win. Not been able to do that. And I think Andrew Gruis has got the best chance, a golden chance today to do it from the hands of Donald Ray, who's coming up from 2 wins in a row. Can he make it 3 in a row tonight? He might as well. Has a chance actually to do it tonight, but we'll see. Can he hold the challenge of Andrew Gruis? He was then challenged. He was challenged by. In fact, he won that Truck Series race as well. He was challenged by Austin Hund, but who then ended up having an incident which he just didn't deserve, but lost out on it. We'll see. We're already on 107 laps at this point in time, and just about 13 to go now to the end of this second stage. That is only going to get us closer to the end of this race at this point in time, but we'll see how long and how good all of this will be going on, because 2 laps, only 2 drivers at this point in time on not on the lead lap. Otherwise, everybody very closer to each other. I think shame that we cannot see all the other cars on the circuit, but we'll see what we can do in that final stage, because I'm sure we will then be seeing all the actions as Donald now got a chance on the outside. On the inside line. They're still side by side. Just backs out does Andrew Gruis, Donald Ray at this point in time. These are still side by side, and there could have been a chance. And I mean, the defending that we praised Donald for, it could be said for Andrew Gruis at this point in time. He has been pretty good in defending this. Sure, Donald will be very, very patient, very defensive, and probably cautious of, not pushing him too much. But still, Andrew has got to do the job. And I think as it stands, he's doing it brilliantly to get himself to the end of the stage. And probably, yes, make it 2-stage wins again, because that's going to be so much of somewhat racing and performance, but not quite at this moment in time. Let's see what he's able to do, because he's got stage 1 win. He can do it 2 stage wins in a row. Only driver that I've seen in this series here at BMRL so far winning both the stages and then winning all 3 of those and dominating the race has been Donald Ray. Did it in one of the previous races, and we'll see what he's able to do today, because otherwise it was Donald himself before in the Truck Series, I believe, having won 2 stages not winning on that third one because of an incident. Same happened for Austin Hun in the previous race as well in that truck series. Dominated the first two stages, didn't quite get it, but he's got the chance today. Andrew Cruz has got the chance. He's showing the speed, the promise, and how much he's going to be able to do at this point in time for everyone. And we'll see what they're able to do. But as it stands, it's pretty dry in this race so far. So we're just about to get to the end of the stage. We'll take a little bit of a break here and get back on before we're about to be to the end of this stage with not much going on in this race. We'll pick it up in a few moments' time. And there we go, with just 2 laps to go now. Let's pick it up and have a look at this race. And one more time, a run down for you. Andrew Cruz in the lead, has won that first stage and now leads by over 2.5 seconds from Donald Ray, who's nowhere to be found between the top two at this point in time, nothing. And then Adam Gardner in that third place, he did a very good job in trying to pit up later than everyone at the end of that first stage, but did a very good job in recovering that. And that then explains Studsman in 4th place as number 2, William in that 2nd place, and Adam Gardner is through on Donald Ray as well. Donald losing quite a lot of few positions at that point in time. William in 5th place, Mayo in 6th place. He was with the top 3 drivers, probably fall down a little after the pit stops. And then Sean Cross, Sterling, Prevo, and Darby a lot of the laps down, and we are on lap 20 out of the final lap of the which should be to the end of this stage and should be taking us yellow flags and caution to the end of this stage, and it's going to be none other than Andrew Gruus, who's going to take it 2 stage wins in a row and make it 2 first place finishes. But he's got to do it. Can he do it in the third and the final stage? We will only get to know in a few moments' time. But that then should be going yellow and marking the end of this stage. It should be going yellow anytime soon. It's not going yellow at this point in time, though. And there you go. It has went yellow. And that then, there was a little bit of a scrape between Ray and Sudsman, but Ray stays ahead. Gardner in second place. That then marks the end of the second stage. It was somewhat, could have been entertaining, but we could only see the leaders at one point. And there we go. We are back with somebody. We're here with us, but we're just at the end of the second stage. So we're going to take a little bit of a break and be back when we go racing one more time. Okay, no worries. Yeah, it really is. Nah, no worries. Just have the battle on most exciting if you against him to go. No, it was just with the leaders. Where I saw in the overlay positions changing, but the focus was still on the leader. No, it was just on the top 2 the whole time, and then at one point, Gruus moved away from the rest of them, and he still was on him, the leader. Yeah. Yeah, let me know.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. I had to go deal with a couple of things there. Zab, man, great job there so far. 124 laps in, buddy. What do you think here? Obviously, I had to step away for a moment, but what do you think?
It looks interesting. I mean, the fight for the lead was going on for most of the time, but then Donald Ray moved away and far away from the leader at one point, and the gap was becoming quite a lot, and he's at the moment in P5. Some of the other drivers have caught up and got closer to the leader now at that restart, and at the back of the grid, there was already at the back of the field somewhat overtakes going on. I think going into the third and final stage, it should be nothing less but overtakes and overtakes to the end.
Yes, sir, man. It's going to be absolutely insane coming down to the final stage as we get ready to go green. You see your Stritzman there, William, Chris Mayo right there, the Mayo sauce right now in fourth. I love that paint scheme, by the way.
Yeah, just a bit of black and yellow, and then putting up somewhat different colors on it to make it interesting. But this is what's going to make it interesting. Is going to be a green flag to let us go racing. It's going to be Stutzman and Andrew Cruz. Andrew had a pretty lonely race at the end of that stage, but let's have a look at that. He's got a big challenge to get this time around. Meanwhile, William is on the inside of Chris Mayo to get it going. He's going to be through on it. Stutzman still stands tall in the middle of those two, and in second place though. Meanwhile, the rest of them are going to give each other the fight, but these two are going to be at it, and now in big pressure, Mayo from William at this point in time.
Yeah, man, tons of pressure right there between the 24-75. There's the 0-2 hobby dobby down the back front straight away they go. 2 by 2 again here tonight, and I tell you what, this is a grueling race for these drivers here, Zab.
Yes, they're doing a great job, I'm sure. Before the end of this stage, they were fighting each other as well. Now they've kept it on this time around for those lead positions, and a top 3 finish on for anybody different from Ray or Gross. We'll see, because Ray and Gross could be getting those top 2 positions. So probably Donald Ray at this moment in time in 6th place, but if he's able to recover and get back to the top, it will still be a 3rd place, which will be the final podium place, and a fight for it will be going on. And as it stands, he is far away, and these drivers, if they do good enough, so many laps, so they probably wouldn't be able to defend from him. He's got some great speed, but we'll see how good they can do. Meanwhile, William and Mayo still going on and getting closer to the leader now. They could well be attacking Andrew Cruz in no moment's time, but we'll see how they're able to do at this point in time. As it stands, Stutzman, the 0-2 car, still stands there in between. So does Junior, just ahead of Ray.
Yeah, right now hanging on 128 on the board. Look at that, a little bit of pinched up. Did Mayo get there off the 2?
Yeah, just about time that now he loses positions, just about staying to the outside line, which obviously wouldn't have been a bit as much faster as behind the car drafting around, and that's going to be an incident.
No.
They did not have anyone the whole race, but we get one this time around, and that involves Chris Mayo and the 0-2 car, and a very good race for Chris turns out into disaster.
Oh no. That's not good, sir. Mayonnaise mayoed it, buddy.
That is really somewhat slipped it. Oh, he hit the wall himself on the outside and just bumping into others. That was nobody but himself to blame, really. And that is somewhat not quite good for him and for others around. And that's going to be first caution of this race in terms of incidents.
What do you say if I can do it? We talk to Chris here. If I can get it to work for us this week. We've tried this before, guys, and it didn't work. Let's see. Me and Chris tried it pre-race. Let's see if we can get it to work, Zab. What do you say? Let's go
Or have a chat with him about what happened.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see if we can get him in here. Nope, still not working. That is so weird.
It does not work for nobody. Only he himself can drag others, I guess.
Yeah, well, we tried.
Yeah. Nope.
Tell you what we'll do. I'll go interview Chris real quick and give you just a break, and then I'll be back down here and restart and go that way. We'll try that. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Hey, Chris Mayo, Matt in the booth, got a copy?
Yeah.
You can't park there, sir.
I know. Yeah, I just got really, really tight on that turn 1 and 2.
Yep, got tight, got in the outside wall, and Mayo slipped in the mayonnaise and popped that outside wall.
Yeah, and then I feel bad. Came across the track and collected a couple other guys and had a great race so far, but now it's kind of been poof.
Alrighty, man. Best of luck going forward, bud.
All right, thank you.
And just like that, we got an interview here tonight. We're back with Zabby Dabby Dabby here, and I'm going to throw him a screen right back up. Hey, we made it work, Zab.
There you go, finally, in one way or the other.
Well, that may be the way we have to do it all season, but we'll get it done.
Yep, somewhat to do as sometimes that if you cannot get the jam out of the jar with a straight finger, you have to turn it a little bit and do something about it.
Or in the United States, you know, if you're from my neck of the woods, it's if you can't figure it out the regular way, just go do it the redneck way, and then, you know, the redneck way works.
Exactly like that.
You know, either or. Alrighty, Zabby, we are getting to it here. And everybody, give Zab a shout out. He gets up really early in the morning to do these things, Zab. You do a great job. And your commitment to this, man, is absolutely unreal, bud.
Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate everything. Just trying to bring the entertainment on everybody's screen and make these races have us at a limelight and somewhat, as we say, a spice of entertainment on it to everybody watching. Really have it enjoyable and just feel them, make them feel they're just watching nothing but another NASCAR race on TV. Just about to go now in a few moments' time, as we will have the pace car come back into the pits with its lights being off, and we will be getting get back to green flag racing. Had an incident, so as it stands, where is Chris? Still, he's in 7th place, a lap down, and made a mistake at the wall on the outside, and then obviously Studman had nowhere to go, and those involved couldn't do much to get away, but let's see what can Gross do here as Donald Ray is back in the 2nd place, and that says that, as I said, the top 2 are going to be the place. Is going to be the place for these 2 drivers. Everybody can do all they can do is fight for that 3rd place, but we'll see. Still a long race to the end to go. Over 70 laps at this point in time. What? 67 laps about to the end, as Stidman is already on it, already on the way to overtake and making some moves, and side by side, just behind William at this point in time, Adam Gardner in the 75 going on and having a scrape at each other. Who's going to be coming out on top? Will it be the William or will it be Adam Gardner? One on the outside, one on the inside. And now Donald Ray having to fight and defend from all of those drivers around him. He's got to try and attack Andrew Gruss a little bit later, but at this point he defends his 2nd place from the rest of those drivers. He's not got only 1, but 2 cars, both side by side, trying to defend, trying to overtake him. But let's see what he's able to do, how good of the abilities of defending that he's able to show us, not only against 1 car, but against multiple cars that try and attack him at this point in time, and we'll see what they're able to do. From him at this point in time, and he might just be getting through. Adam Gardner then seems to be ahead and has pulled away and broken the slipstream from the 2 from William and stood the 02. Meanwhile, the number 14 on the top of the hill are there as well. They are all together at this point in time from P1 to P6, all on that same lead lap, are very good together as Donald and Adam Gardner now go side by side. Adam's through on him and he's going to overtake Donald Ray and get himself in the 2nd place. The 2nd place fight might just be a 3rd place as well, as Donald Ray now getting attacked from William as well. He loses out another position, does Donald Ray. He might be attacking and getting back into that top 2 once again, but as this point in time, it isn't quite easy for him, and it has not been easy for him at all. So at this point in time, as he loses out positions, and a lot of those.
Yes, sir, they are, and I'll tell you what, they're boot scooting boogieing right now down the back straightaway here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Zab, of course, we are 137 laps into what was one of the longest races of the season. What's your thoughts here on these guys keeping themselves mentally in the game for the next, a little less than an hour now that these guys will have to do this?
Yeah, I think they'll have to do a lot, and the focus would still have to be a lot, I'm sure. Not only us, but them having to do so many laps must be exhausting at this point in time. Almost 140 laps, and still about, it's still about it to the end. 60 to go, and I think that's going to be like so much of pressure and power going on to the end, which we'll see how they're able to do, but I think focus will be still at the maximum, because, well, as we saw in Chris's incident, that even if you could just go out for 1 second, you're going to hit the wall and could be taking off yourself and others around. So just all of this hard work needs to be put down, because after doing so many laps, and one problem, one mistake, or just that 1 split second could change up all the turnout, and you're not even finishing the race. So I think they're all going to be still locked in, and they should be locked in to the end.
Yes, sir. Trying to hang on. And right now, everybody's 140 on the board.
$140 laps to this race now having completed. 15 laps after the restart on lap 25, but the one we had another caution, so another restart because of an incident happened to be Kane after 130 laps had passed, and now they're still, and Andrew Gruz, as it stands, is over 5 tenths ahead of Donald Ray, of Williams in fact. William in fact is in second place, and the rest of them fighting each other and fighting him. Donald Ray at this moment in time in 4th place, just a bit behind that top 3. He's going to try and attack those guys, but William is going to try and do what he can. He has been in the mix of the top 3 drivers in the few times, but never really seen him finish inside or win or inside that top 2 or 3 too consistently. Sure, he finished in the podium in one of the races, but hasn't been too much a big of a contender. He's still been there, you know, any one from the ones behind can take it to be in that top 3. Could be Adam Gardner, could be William, could be Stutzman, and even Junior could have a look at that as well. But we'll see how they're able to do with about 143 laps now. We are into so many laps to go still, and I think the patience game, well, they will still have to be playing that. Sure, it's the 3rd and final stage, and this is where they all fight for the positions, but as you said earlier in the race, that we might be seeing 2 pit stops, 2 green flag pit stops in this 3rd and final stage. There are just so many laps to do and calculate on a 1 stop.
Yeah, man, so many that you got to do 144 on the board of 200. You see William right there as well. So William hanging on 144 this time by.
One driver actually out of this race, which should be Sean Cross, as it stands in that number 8 car, out of this race, out of the 11 that started. Only 10 remain at this point in time, and Darby's 13 laps down, and Prevo 7 laps down, and Chris Mayo 1 lap, along with Sterling 1 lap down. So if there's a caution at this point in time, Sterling's getting that back into the lead lap. So I think Mayo might try and overtake him to get himself into the lead. Meanwhile, Andrew Gruz hits the wall on the outside, just touches it a little bit, and that's going to allow William to move to the down line and try and overtake. Gross tries to defend, but they make contact. They touched a little bit, but will it be Gross able to hang it in there, or will it be William getting through, as Donald has now moved past the others as well, and just enough to defend for Andrew Gruz. Not quite able to do it is William. He hit the wall, did Andrew, but still not enough for William. He tried it, but in the end, Andrew did a very good job to try and defend and keeps himself to the lead of the race still. As now Donald is trying to fight it out. He's side by side with Adam Gardner to move for that position. Very close now. This is very close. That was going to be Adam Gardner almost hitting that wall, or will it be Donald? And Donald now going to try and defend. Look at that, how much he's doing a very good job. Oh, that was very close. One more time, doing a very good job. Donald, like, he was not only trying to overtake Adam Gardner, but trying to defend from Stutzman behind as well into P5. At this moment, Ray in 4th place. Note, I'm sure if he just gets a little bit of a momentum picked up, as he's already getting that done. He's side by side with Gardner, and is going to move himself up into third place. Just wants that little moment to pick up, and he could well be going into it. And I think in no time he'll be overtaken by overtaking William as well, because he's on the way to do it. We'll see how he's going to do it, but we'll see, because Gardner just in fourth place. Ray has moved up a little. William is on it. William is just on the verge. If there's a mistake for Andrew, he's going to go for it. Earlier on, there was a mistake. He just wasn't able to capitalize on it. Was William. I think he's on the way to try and do that. Meanwhile, Stutzman is going to be moving up as well, and himself into fourth place, and try and make a position and take advantage of Adam Gardner losing one position and get him lose another one. We are about to be in to lap 150 out of 200 with over 51 laps to go at this point in time. $150, as I said, the fight between William and Donald very goodly going on, and as I said, as well as we'll have Donald get going, he will be going straight up as he's moved up from P4 to P3 at this point in time, and he might well be just going on once again, and an attack to William could well be on, but we will see what and how they will all be getting it, because Donald now still not able to overtake. He's trying, but he's not able to do it. He's going to try and do it, but will he be able to do it? Because it is going to be interesting to see and get this going. And not able to do it, still not able to do it. This is now getting closer. This might be getting closer as Donald now around the outside goes for Williams. He tried a lot of time on that down line, but he tried a lot of time to go low and overtake him, but he goes high this time around, and it's going to catch William off guard to not lose one, but on the way to lose two if he's not able to defend and get himself ahead. Keep himself ahead of Adam Gardner, who's on the way to overtake, because if he does not overtake, he's in somewhat pressure from the one Studman behind as well. Round the outside, that's going to be Adam Gardner to get going through as Studman just stays right behind, but those guys are going to try, and Donald one more time overtakes him, and I think we'll see if Andrew Cruz is able to stay doing the good job, same job he's done. Meanwhile, Adam Gardner moves up, and Williams' time of very close, and I think Williams this time, as I said, he was turning in second place for a little bit longer. He had one opportunity to capitalize on that race lead. He couldn't quite do it, and after that, he might now end up losing more positions. So everybody tried it. I think Donald Church was staying behind William for a little bit, but we tried on the low line. William was still staying there and trying to defend. Not able to do it was Donald, but as soon as he went high and on the outside line, which helped him and get through on William, which is now going to be a fight between William and Adam Gardner. William's going to try and attack back and really give it a fight out there. But surely Studman, the 0-2, still staying behind these drivers. But he's going to be on the way. He's going to be on the way and almost making it 3 wide and in between the two drivers. And this is somewhat racing going on between the 3 and 2.
Yeah, man,
all of these drivers.
Great racing right here, man. They are stacked, racked right together, my man.
Yeah, really somewhat great racing. I mean, William had one opportunity to overtake Cruz, but couldn't quite capitalize on it, and now finds himself to try and defend that third place. And this fight is really going to go on, because that third and final podium place finish could well be on. Meanwhile, the leaders moving left and right. Andrew Cruz doing everything to defend his race lead.
Man, I tell you what, he's going to have to get at her, right? Andrew right there with Donald Ray. those guys stacked right together, man.
Yeah, they've both given each other a hard time all race long, and I think Andrew Cruz, winning the first 2 stages, wants to make it 3 in a row, just like what Donald Ray did in the previous race, winning all 3 stages. Dominant race performance, and Donald Ray also wants to win it 3 in a row. He's won 2 races in a row here in the Cup Series. He wants to make it 3 in a row and a hat trick of race wins, but only time will tell if he's able to do it. Still about 42 laps to go to the end. Big time, and those strategies could well be playing a big part as well when we see these guys making a green flag pit stop.
Yeah, we're going to get right down to it here with Andrew continuing to lead. Man, green flag stop is going to be crucial here.
They sure will be. Who gets it right, who gets it wrong, because in the Truck Series race, Donald ended up winning it, but we had a chat with him after the race, and he was like, it was only the incident of the leader getting me victory, and I messed up on those stops, so those matter a lot. Doesn't always mean that if you mess it up, you'll win, or you don't mess it up, we won't win. But we'll see how this is going to be happening for these drivers, because you have done the first 2 stages, you've got the victories, you've nailed those, but the final one still remains unknown, and the unknowns of coming, well, what will happen, because Donald is not going to stay behind, and we've seen many times if Donald overtakes you, it's very hard to get past him. He doesn't usually let you through quite easily. You have to work very hard for it, and I think Andrew will be in no mood of having to do that one more time.
No, that's the thing. He's going to have to really pay attention to what's going on here.
Yeah, I think with William one more time getting closer, because then Studman has pitted. Maybe Gardner got out of the way as well, as William is back in the 3rd place. And with these leaders one more time, as they're going to overtake a guy, Jamie Prevo, as he gets out of the way this time around. Very nicely done. It was Jamie who ran into Austin Hund, trying to get out of the way in a wrong way. But this time around does a very good job to get past. And at this point in time, he's over 8 laps down, but we'll see what they're able to do. Only 5 drivers on a lead lap, and now William maybe just still staying there. He's still just driving low in that single line almost. We're seeing him drive. No matter nobody. He's trying to overtake Dick's a different line, or anybody trying to overtake him. But meanwhile, we just say that he goes on the outside to have a go at it, but he's far away, not going to be close enough to really make that move.
Donald Ray right there as well. Nice job fighting through.
Yes, so far he's doing a very good job, and a very good job indeed from Donald Ray and from Andrew Cruz, both of them. And I think as it stands still, anybody can take this victory from these 2 though, and without an incident, these 2 are the ones to take a victory. Maybe William in there, but he doesn't seem to be having too good of a speed to overtake both of these drivers and win on merit. Maybe an incident or some mistake from these ahead could well be getting him from not prevent him from winning, but otherwise it'll be these 2 fighting each other, and I think it'll be the one who keeps calm on their nerves, who keeps it calm, picks up no pressure, and really doesn't take it all on himself. Will be doing. Just focus on the driving, keep focused, do everything what you've done in the previous 160, or probably when we get to the end in the previous 199 laps, do in that final lap 200, and you'll get to the end. But still feels like an eternity to the end. We've done so much laps and got about many to do still, as Donald in the pits now. So the green flag pit stops have been beginning now, with many of those drivers coming into the pits.
Yeah, man, it is, and it is picking up fast, man. Man, it's gonna be crazy. Zab, are you ready? Have you got your seat belt and your boosters on? Because the end of this race is gonna be absolutely unreal here tonight at Charlotte.
Yes, it really will be, because sure, the first few stages have been in these one. The drivers have been fighting for it, and this third one as well. They're fighting back and forth, but when it comes down to the final few laps, nobody's going to be backing out. Nobody would want to back out or lose out on a position that they would be holding there for the race, the entirety of the race, and then try and not lose out on it towards the ending parts. And it would only get better and better as we move on towards the ending laps.
Yeah, man, it's getting down to it. Andrew right there on pit road. This is going to be absolutely wild.
It really would be, and I think at this moment in time it will be very close when one of those the leaders trying to get back as well, with Stidman and Junior. In fact, Junior in that first place, Stidman in second place, and I believe he was one of the first ones to be pitting here on these ones, so he might just be coming out ahead of everyone.
Yes, sir.
He would help be, and that looks like him pitting earlier than before than anybody might have helped him and played in his way. That is going to see him take the lead of this race, with Ray and Sterling in third and fourth place. But I think Junior at this point, sorry, Stidman at this one time in second place, and now Junior into the pits as well, and that is going to see Stidman into the lead.
Yes,
he will have the challenge of Ray to defend, but we'll see how good he's able to do that. It's going to be all testings for him and everybody around.
Yes, sir. And right now we're getting down to it, man. And this is going to be crazy. Right at the moment, Jeremiah, tongue-tied, continuing to lead. Zab's going to laugh at me there for getting tongue-tied, but right now, Jeremiah continuing to lead the way. Donald Ray giving chase like a hound dog chasing a turkey.
Yeah, he's on the way to do it. We are almost about into laps. We're on 169, lap 169, and about to go to a lap of 170, which is going to mark just about 30 laps to the end. The final 30, that will be way more exciting than the first 30, and sure, they're all at it. As Stidman is ahead and over 2 seconds the gap to Donald Ray at this point in time. Gardiner is very close to Ray at this point. That fight could be interesting if both of them have pitted and coming out together. Meanwhile, Andrew Cruz in fourth place at this point in time. He will have to make overtakes to get himself back into the lead and do a bit of more hard work than he had done earlier. Sure, he had done hard work, of course, to get himself into the lead and keep him, but he's got a few cars to clear and would really take a lot of more focus and more time out of his racing ability so far, and really he's going to test out everything.
Donald Ray, Adam, Andrew, William, 171 on the board this time by. We're continuing right around the yellow or white line here trying to dig.
Yes, and Donald is already at it. Stidman really did nail the pit stops, but that wasn't going to be for too long. Of course, you need the speed as well. He's showing some very good glimpses of speed, but still not enough for Donald to be behind. And with that, Adam Gardiner is going to get through as well, as he's going to go make it a 1-2 for Ray and Gardiner at this point in time. And we'll see how and what is Andrew Cruz then going to be able to do. He's over 1.8 seconds behind these guys, and he's got some more ground to make. I think that then kind of explains that when he gets near, if he's able to do as good as these two, Donald and Gardiner, did, he should be through on Stidman without any problems or issues, as Stidman now on to be lapping Chris Mayo.
And Mayo got into the side of him there, gave him that old bump, I guess is what we'll call it here tonight.
Mayo getting involved in those few incidents, just trying to stay away from everything, but in the end, again, bumping in one or the other, and getting himself involved. Just can't quite get away from anything bumping into him.
Yeah, Chris is like bumped that thing as he moved on through him, but Chris is not going the way of the dodo bird flying across the Atlantic Ocean right now. He's back to 7th or 8th and free falling. Damage on that race car, looking like he got ran over by a monster truck.
Yeah, really, it was just that wall on the outside, and then a few other problems maybe coming his way. Not enough to get himself back into the lead. At this point, still stays 2 laps behind, unless there's a big wreck and he finds himself then on the lead lap. But I believe Sterling's on the lead lap. Not on the lead lap, but one of the leading cars, the ones that are lap down. So he will be getting his lead on back on the lead lap if there is a caution. So that's not going to be helping out Mayo at this point in time.
Yeah, mayonnaise in big trouble here tonight. And, oh, we got another car in the wall. Oh no, that was the Tracker Boats Bass Pro Shop machine, not Bass Pro Shops getting in the wall. He'll hang on and then fight through Andrew, Adam, and a couple more right behind Scooby-Doo, giving it to him. 24 to go.
Yeah, really, drivers not keeping away from the walls, still just finding a way in one way or the other, bumping it into the walls, and just giving them and others a bit of a weird thing to worry about. And that was a little bit of a movement from Adam Gardner's car on that front end. Thought that he might be on the way to lose it, but just keeps it on the track.
Yes, sir. Trying to hang on. 23 to go here tonight from Charlotte, buddy. 23 more rounds, Abby.
Yeah, I mean, we have done so many of these already. So one lap 170, lap 177 it should be. And I think these 23 shouldn't feel too long now, having done so many of those. And it should just be like just 23 to the end, we shall say.
Yes, sir. Getting to her.
Ooh, I mean, he's trying his hard. Sterling at this point in time is 2 laps down. He's still trying his hard, his way and his luck to really get himself back into the lead. I mean, 22 laps. No, I don't think he can do it because unless there's a caution that gets him into the lead lap, and that's going to take a lot of his time to try and overtake everyone. But he's still trying. He's still trying to keep the focus on and really give the glimpse of his speed on what he can do had he been on the lead lap with all of these drivers.
Yeah. But look at this. Some of these guys starting to stack back up together, brother. Nice job, 21 to go. Taking a look right now, Andrew and Donald Ray right there.
Now this is close between Ray and Andrew Cruz. Still, these two are back 1-2, and Andrew's showing the speed, and he's been the faster one all race long. But will he be able to do that? Look at that from low to high. What a move that to defend was Ray, and I think he's going to try and do it once again. He really wants to make it 3 in a row. Andrew Cruz wants to win the first of the season. He wants victories. He wants race wins, and I think he's going to try and give it his all. He had to make a few positions and gain a few positions to the end after those green flag pit stops, and I think he's got one more chance to do it. And he's gonna get it, do it. Right by side they are. On the outside, it's gonna be Andrew Cruz. He's made it. He's a whole car ahead. But will he move to the inside or stay to the outside? And I think he's gonna stay there. Andrew tried and go to him, but which obviously would not be enough as well. And they're just gonna try and go single file. And I think sure he's made the overtake done, but it's not always gonna be enough. And he will have to make ground and try and do the defensive and really turn on the defensive Andrew to really get through these 18 remaining laps and get himself to lap 200 as the driver in that first place and take the checkered flag to win here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
All right, 17 to go, buddy. You think anybody's got anything for Andrew, man?
Not at this point in time. I mean, as the only one who's got it is Donald Ray, but Andrew looks to be a different one today. He doesn't just, nobody's able to stop him in one way or the other. He was many cars behind Donald when they came out of the pits to really make those moves, but he's going at it. And we know see Sterling get back himself ahead of the leader.
Look what happened. Look what happened. That car getting around him slowed him up, and here comes Donald Ray, Zab. Ray is right there on him now.
Yes, that's going to stop him, and I think that was somewhat of a job for Sterling to do, really, to try and maybe help Donald Ray there, and I think he surely has done, because that then stopped Andrew Grews a little bit to break his momentum, and which is going to get Ray to get very close, and very close for comfort for Andrew Grews, and he's going to have to push maximum push to the end to get himself through, but this is going to be very close, and now a fight to give and a fight to have between these two. They won't give it away, and I think Ray will not give it away without a fight at all. Just 14 to go, and I think it's only getting better and better between these two. The rest of them maybe pulled away a little bit from one another, but these two are at it and together to get it going. I think both of them want this victory more than anybody else. They've ran the longest in the top two positions, and as it stands still, these two are as dominant as they get. And for both of them, this victory is on the line. These 13 laps to go will be very crucial. Any one of those who's able to calm their nerves and be the better pressure handler could well be the winner here, because these moments are very crucial. And in these moments, if your nerves get the better of you, you might end up making the mistakes that were not necessary at all.
Yeah, Zab, that's the thing with 12 to go. You can't have no more boo-boo ooh-oohs here tonight at Charlotte. You're down to it, Andrew, Donald, Adam, right there as well with Jeremiah there in the mix. Well, Bud, what do you think here? 11 to go. Donald Ray right there on the back bumper. Last time by, he ran a 31.05 to a 31.01 of Andrew. So that gap right with one another.
Yes, it really is, and I think the final 5 to 6 laps could well be on the way to give us a side-by-side action, and it won't be. I won't be surprised if there's a photo finish to the end, or even Ray getting ahead of him, because this is somewhat. He's showing the speeds, he's showing the pace and performance that it takes to overtake Andrew at this point in time. But Andrews at this point in time will be doing everything to just try and defend himself and get himself ahead with just 10 to go now, and I think they're only going to be counting the laps will be Andrew. He wants to be finishing ahead. He wants this victory than anybody else at this point in time, and especially after winning those first two stages, it's only right that he gets to win. But obviously that doesn't always mean that if you've driven so half of the laps of this distance good, you deserve to win, or even more. Well, whoever's ahead in those on that final lap and taking that second flag first will be coming first. So still very uncertain who comes at the top. He's unable to overtake Donald, but in the pressure, we've seen things happen that were never imagined before. So still anything on the way for both of the drivers.
Yeah, it is absolutely go time and go-ville right now. You can't make a mistake, and you got to get at it as best as possible here tonight with Andrew out front. Eight
to go now.
Jinx, you said it. Jinx.
We'll see now, just 8 to go, and he's only getting closer right
Oh,
now.
well, there it
getting
is.
closer and closer. They're going to be side by side. It's going to be Andrew Cruz versus Donald Ray. After dominant performances, Andrew. Donald's going to get through, but Andrew's not going to leave him behind as well. He's not going to give it up too easy. With just 7 laps to go, he's going to go everything he can do to get himself the race win, which he's worked so hard for. But then Donald is going to give it all as well. With just 7 laps to go, this is all going to be out. You're going to be, if you're on a seat, you'll be on the edge of your seat to watch this battle to go to the end of the race. And I think both of them are going to be really trying everything. And I think at this point in time, we could well be seeing these drivers putting an elbow out to stop one another from overtaking, or really not taking their victory. And I think with just 6 to go, which is going to be 5 to go next time around, and it's still happening, and this is getting closer and closer. The battle and this excitement gets more and more for these, and they're really pumping it up for all of us down here.
Yeah, they are. Shenanigans about to ensue. Here goes Donald Ray. Donald, oh, he had to jump back in behind him.
Yeah, and I think as he's really trying his best, he's trying everything he can to overtake, but Andrew, on the other hand, is doing everything to defend. And I think every defending move that he knows till today, he might as well apply it, because with 5 to go, as close as Donald is, he will be on the way to lose out on a dominant performance. Sure, in the 3rd stage, wasn't that dominant, but still winning those first 2 stages has to be on that victory line at the end of this. With just 4 to go, this will be still interesting, because one wrong move for Andrew could well be letting Donald get through.
One mistake could cost Andrew the race here. One little mishap, man. One little oopsie. One little wrong turn of the wheel. All could come down to this right here.
Yeah, I think just a wrong turn and anything, just a hand off the wheel, we could well be going off, and Lee's lap traffic would have to be very cautious as well, because they don't want to be involved in this battle and get out of the way as early as they can. With just 3 to go now, this is heating up, and nobody still knows who's going to come out on top.
Nobody knows, man. It's going to be insane. 2 laps to go. Here we go. Mono and mono up front with 2 to go, Zab. You can't ask for more than this. 300 miles of racing going to come down to the next 3 miles, Zab, down the back straightaway. Andrew able to hold that gap right now, 1.8, 1.7 into 3 and 4. Donald Ray to the high side, Zab. He'll try to make something happen.
Yes, he definitely will. I think 300 miles of racing with just a few miles to go now to the end. They're all going to be at it. Oh, now this is going to be the final lap, final and last lap, and this is going to be the only chance for Donald Ray to go for it. He might be on the way to go for it. Will he be through, though? They're almost side by side. He's got high, and he's going to go hard back again on the back of Andrew's car, but they could well be side by side to the finish line as Donald's going to go for it. Andrew's trying everything to defend. The number 9 versus 19. This is going to be somewhat interesting to say, and he moves to the inside. So does Donald out there, and this could well be on, and that's a checkered flag.
Andrew, what a job driving that race car, Zab. Held him back there and made it work.
Yeah, he really did everything to the end there to keep himself ahead, and I think he must be feeling great as he makes and takes the first win of the Cup Series and wins all 3 stages. Does exactly what Donald did in the previous Cup Series race and makes it win number 1 here in Cup Series. And what a race, man. Fantastic and great racing, and that then marks the end to this great race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
There we go, a great race here tonight, and of course we'll get interviews in a moment. We'll probably have to do what we did a moment ago. But Zab, that was an epic race.
Yes, it definitely was, and I think it pumping the adrenaline of drivers, but I think everyone watching I'm sure must have enjoyed it a lot as well, because this was somewhat a classical racing, great racing that we would have hoped for coming into this race, and it did not disappoint.
Yes, sir. All right, we are done here as far as the racing, but not done here as far as broadcasting. Zap, I'm going to probably go do the interviews real quick and do that side if we can get them in here. Man, that was fun.
Absolutely, and we might have to move to the waiting room to interview them.
Mm-hmm. Let's go. Alrighty, boys. Zab, there you go. Mr. Donald Ray, right there, coming home second tonight. What's your thoughts, buddy?
Oh, that was a fun race, man. I mean, it was. I think we had one caution, maybe, aside from the stage breaks.
That was Chris Mayo knowing it back there, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I got into the side of him, somehow got lucky and didn't get any damage there. Pure luck.
All right,
it was
man.
a tough one.
You threw
it
everything.
It was a tough race because you.
Go ahead. Discord's acting up again. Oh boy. All right, let's try it again. You threw everything at Andrew you could possibly throw at him.
Yeah, I didn't have anything for him, especially in the first two stages, because it was such a tire management game. And in the second stage there, I took about a half gallon too little of fuel, so I had to save a pretty good bit there in the second half of that second stage. And then there I feel like I had something for him at the end, but I'd have had to get dirty to win that race, and I'm not about doing that, and I've never been about doing that. And I mean, he deserved to win anyway. I mean, he won both stages. I think this is our first sweep of the year for anybody, so congrats to Andrew.
Alrighty, man. Again, good job coming home second tonight. Zabby, I'll let you talk to our race winner, and then we'll grab Mr. Gardner.
And yeah, Andrew Gross. I mean, man, what a performance! You looked a lot more. I'm sure you'll be a lot more comfortable in those first two stage wins than it was, especially in those final few laps here in this third stage. And just tell us what was going through your mind and how it really was for you, because it was really close in the end. Till the final lap, it wasn't certain that who's gonna win.
Yeah, stage 1 and 2, it was just all tire saving, and I thought I had better strategy with tire saving and exiting the turns a lot smoother on the fuel and whatnot. But yeah, stage 3, yeah, Don will have something for me, and I was worried because me and the 5 almost like wrecked me, and he get caught back up. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna outrun him this time. Like, I have to like aero block like crazy. But much respect to him for not racing dirty, you know. Just yeah, I told you I was gonna be here. Zabby.
Yeah, really made it. I mean, really made up for the previous race's mistake at the end of that first stage. And I think to really recover from that and do it all 3 stages, it must feel great.
It's crazy to sweep this race. Crazy. Putting Beard Motorsports in victory lane.
Yeah, you can really enjoy it. And man, congratulations once again for your fantastic victory here. And anything more you want to add on into the race, and shout outs you want to give out to anyone?
Yeah, this race win goes out to my wife and I. It's our 11th year anniversary next week, so hooray to that. 11 years strong. Just shout out to Beard Motorsports. Shout out to Donald for a real clean race. Adam for a real clean race. I thought Adam and the other guy's strategy was going to play out, but then they did something off strategy that I thought they were going to do, so I was a little worried with them, but great race for everybody. Had a lot of fun tonight.
Thanks a lot. And Adam Gardner to We Should Move Now.
Hey, yeah, it was a good race, and was hoping to be able to pull a strategy call, but I'll take that for a result, especially considering I had a technical issue that kind of ended my race early last week. But yeah, I got some damage in the last stage, which kind of bit me a little bit. But all in all, when we were coming up to that last pit stop, and I was like, man, there's 5 of us here under our blanket battling for this. These guys must be loving it. So hopefully you guys had as much fun watching as we had fun racing it tonight, because it was a good time out there. A lot of clean,
Yes.
hard racing, and
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'm sure it must have been. I think still, you think you could have done anything better, or the top two guys, Adam and Donald, just were too fast, and P3 would still be a great result for you.
yeah, with the damage, I picked up some damage around, I don't know, 10 laps into the final stage. So with that damage, it just wasn't going to happen. It took away some speed, but all in all, I'm happy. You know, like I said, I had the early DNF last week, so it hadn't been the best of starts of the seasons on the Cup side, but I'll take this clean night, top. You know, Tia talking to you at the end, so I must have done something right.
Yeah, I mean, somewhat of a still a good result to end the to going into the break and really to recharge up and possibly come back and have a chance at the victory one more time when we go racing again.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, looking forward to enjoying the break, but at the same time, looking forward to coming back onto the track with the momentum. And yeah, other than that, that's about it. You know, the guys Ramrod Racing, we had both our races this week. We had 3 vehicles into the top 5, so you know we're happy about that. And keep doing it.
Yeah, congratulations on that third place finish, ladies and gentlemen. That was Adam Gardiner, our third place finisher here tonight. So that's it from me, Zabby here. And anything you want to add on, Matt?
All I got to say is Merry Christmas, everybody. Enjoy the off break, and BMRL will be back in the new year. Until then, for me, Zab, Mike unfortunately got disconnected. It's been a great night. Happy holidays, everybody, and we will see you guys 2 weeks from tonight. Have a good one, everyone.